All righty, folks, we are back with the one and only Mr. Stephen Dow. We spend a lot of time educating you folks on the 90% CLTV, something we call the 50-40-10. And because of that, we have been remiss. We have forgotten to talk about the Fast 50 program, which helps a lot of people out there today. So we're going to focus on the Fast 50. But before we do that, Mr. Dow, we got to do that marketing plug so we don't get in trouble.
Although I work very happily for Velocity Mortgage Capital, all the ideas and topics discussed on this channel are that of my own. So let's get it going.
There you go. Well, why don't you kind of just take this, step one, step two. So what is the Fast 50 program to start off?
That's probably one of our most lenient products. It's a long-term 30-year fixed loan, 30-year amortized for both residential, non-owner occupied 1 to 4 unit residential as well as commercial. Again, the two types of commercial, mixed use and multifamily, one category. So 5 or more units as far as apartment buildings, and then the mixed use where you have property and straight commercial as well, which is another category where that would include office space, warehouses, strip malls, self-storage, automotive repair like garages, things of that nature. So, but with that product, it's very lenient in the case of, qualifying, because if you got good credit and all you need is 50% LTV, that's where my lowest rates are. But even if you don't have great credit, you got really bad credit or even no credit score, I'll still give you 50% LTV. So we're starting to see quite, a bit of business, and there's just so many different varying degrees of the reasons. I mean, I've literally done, loans for very, very legitimately wealthy people. I mean, not with an M, but with a B.
Yeah, you told me about a billionaire who had poor credit for whatever reason, and the Fast 50 was the right answer.
And it's not so much poor credit. I mean, they play a whole different game. They don't even use credit, and so that's the thing, though. So, but yeah, it's a kind of a whole different. Now, on a side note, if there are any billionaires watching this channel, that need financing quickly, no ratio. So at 50% LTV and under, with really bad credit on residential properties, it's no ratio across the board. No tax return, no W-2, no DSCR.
Yeah, well, the other thing we got to realize is going on. Sometimes we have to look at the bigger picture, and I don't know if you've seen this in the news. You probably have because you're pretty plugged in. But student loan delinquencies are now being reported on the credit, and I've seen people estimate that anywhere between 160 and 200 point collapse. So if you were a prime borrower and now you're delinquent on your student loans, you are suddenly subprime. And if you are already subprime and now it's like, this is going to get really, really bad for a lot of people. So again, the Fast 50 is there, even with bad credit. You were telling me about somebody who had a credit score in the 400s get a deal done. I didn't even know you could have a credit score in the 400s.
I used to think that either. I used to think like you get your name right and the address, and you at least got 400 points. But yeah, true story. It again, the borrower knew that they're having credit challenges, but found a particular seller that was really motivated and had enough equity, and for whatever reason believed in a 417 FICO borrower to 30% second. Because again, like I said, I'm not gonna, I might think differently if it were me, but nevertheless, it got done. But really got it done. So again, for people going through either credit challenges, issues with gaps in income for whatever reason, right now there's a lot of hardship that hasn't really fully hit the market yet, as far as like layoffs and things of that nature. So to some degree, I think that will impact certain borrowers, because not everybody's going to be able to have certain luxuries of like passive income to invest or whatnot. So even if certain things as far as layoffs hit those people, it may not hit me specifically as far as my line of financing, but I'm sure it's going to hit other areas as far as primary residence and conventional financing. But yeah, it's been very, very useful, again, in all spectrums, whether you got a lot of money or not, or just again credit challenges, lifetime events where recently one of the spouses passed away, but the one spouse stay at home or whatnot, doesn't use credit or doesn't have any credit. I've had one of those. I mean, unfortunately, most of the ones I get, or I wouldn't say unfortunately, or most of, a lot I get are based on divorce.
Yeah, sure. No, it's life is real, right? And there's lots of reasons to have poor credit for, a life event. Not that you'll always be there,
Right.
but it's nice to know that there are lenders out there who look past that. They look at the deal, they look at security. And again, it's not lost on me. A 50% LTV loan on almost all assets is a pretty safe loan.
Right.
And again, this goes just back to velocity. And the thing that I've learned about velocity over the last 4 years is you do what you do and you do it really well. You don't try to be all things to all people.
Right.
You try to be a make sense lender as
Correct.
opposed to fit everybody in a box, which is what conventional lenders do. You take care of business owners and poor. I mean, if you're in one of those spots and you just don't qualify for conventional, you should be reaching out to Stephen Dow and at least seeing if he can help you. Again, investments only. He doesn't help with homeowner purchases, right? Again, he does what he does. And again, that Fast 50 with the 400 credit score you were talking about, that was also, not to go back to it, but a 50-40-10.
Yeah.
So again, a 400 credit score borrower got in for 10% down. You're chuckling. It's crazy,
well,
right?
Because again, when I explain that story to people, they're like, no way. And the rate was sub 10%. That's the thing. Even with bad credit, you can get like sub 10% 30-year fixed money. Right?
30-year fixed. Yeah.
And you can add up to 10 years of interest only for the first 10 years of your 30-year fixed loan.
Yeah, I love that.
With really bad credit.
Yeah, it's just wild. If somebody wanted to reach out to you and ask more about the Fast 50 or the 90% CLTV, what are they doing?
Email again, sdao@velocitymortgage.com. As of late, sometimes the firewall, I apologize for this, is catching a couple of you people. So if there's a slight delay, I really do apologize. If I do respond to you, typically my phone number is reflected. If there's some sort of disconnect because now there's just only 24 hours a day and I can only get back to somebody, just give me a call whenever you're available. I'll pick up. So other than that, email is usually the best. ORAAT in the subject line usually makes it past the firewall. Body of the email, brief description, what you're looking for. Address is going to be super helpful. At least city and state to make sure I lend there. Your mid-FICO score and best phone number to reach you at. I'll usually be in touch within 24 hours. Well, I should say now 48. Yeah, sorry. Don't want to make it too tight.
Yeah, 24 to 48. I'd say that. There you go. Stephen, you're amazing, man. Take care.
Thanks, Mike. Have a good weekend.